Alex of Saber Academy Vienna, and today I'm going to talk about a topic which I know is a rather not so loved one in the community. It is footwork. In every martial art, every martial sport, and Sabercombat is a martial sport as I see it, you have to begin down low. You have to begin with the footwork, because without footwork you are not able to attack your opponent, to defend against your opponent, or to move around in a way that suits the combat style. So, when we begin with Form 1, we have the most basic part, which is stance. So, I call this a movement stance because it is aimed to be movable. We will see in Form 2 another variant stance that is a more static one, which does not mean you're simply standing around, but it is a more linear and static stance supporting a limited range of movement. In Form 1 we have a stance that is movement oriented, meaning you have more weight distributed to your front leg and less so on your back leg, so you're essentially pivoting your body along your hips on your front foot. So how do you do this? First of all, you get into the correct stance, like this, and we begin with the most essential step, which is called the passing step. It's just walking, like you're walking down the avenue, but always the movement is generated by the hips. So you don't lift up your back leg like this, exaggerated, but you turn your hips. The back foot comes forward, becomes your new front foot. You distribute your weight, and you end up in the basic stance again, just with the change of the leading leg. When you want to get backwards, it's the same movement again. You now have the right foot as the leading foot. You can chain up these movements, and most importantly, you don't have to walk linear. You can always set your foot offline and just put your back foot with inline. So you step offline, you do inline, just like this. So you can move around in angles. And angles are the most important factor in a fight with any weapon, especially with a two-handed grip, because you have to open up the angle towards your opponent so you can hit him. The next step is the advancement. An advancement means you put your front foot just a half step in front, so you advance towards your opponent. With this movement you have to keep your core muscles tight, so your upper body is not wobbling like this, but keep it up straight, set up the step, and just slide your back foot along. So once again, that's a simple advancement. Mind you, this is not a lunge. We will come to the lunge in Form 2, but for Form 1 you just use these simple advancement. The next step is the sliding step or the shuffle. In a shuffle or a sliding step, the back foot is brought up to the front foot and pushes the front foot forward. So this is another linear step, and this is backwards, but it can deceive the opponent because your body comes forward, not in the way of a passing step where you turn your shoulders, but you keep your shoulders in the same direction as before and just come forward. The next most basic step in Form 1 is the offline step, the diagonal step, whatever you want to call it. This means you step with either your back foot or your front foot. You can do it with both. Offline in a greater angle, and turn your hip so your back foot slides in line with the stance. When you do this with the back foot, it's like this. When you do it with the front foot, you step offline and slide your hips along. With the front foot, it's a bit more difficult, but it works. Try it. So, when I use the passing step with the blade in my hand, it's like this. When I use an advancement, like this, slidings, and offline. And you see, with every movement I create an angle towards my opponent, which differs as I set my foot. The distance that I set my foot is a crucial factor when it comes to fighting, because when I do a larger step, I open up a wider angle. When I do a smaller step, I open up a smaller angle. These are tactical basics deriving just from footwork. So, if you want to get really good at any art of fighting, you will have to practice footwork. So, that's it for now. I'll show you some examples of footwork and the appliance of footwork after this. And I hope you take something from it and put it into use in your own training. So, have fun and may the force be with you.